All right, here we go. Hey yo, how's it look? How's it looking? Yo, what's up, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers? It's your boy Puertorock77. Hold on real quick. How's it looking? The levels is good? All right. How's everything for everybody? You guys good? Everything checks out? What's good? What's good, my peoples? My peoples. We got a lot to talk about. And of course, I'm going to break out the gospel for you guys because enough of the BS, right? Enough of the nonsense, all right? PR says, why didn't you debate Kid Smooth? I'm 6 hours ahead of his time, East Coast time. Remember, I'm in Germany. Now, he was planning to start the podcast for my time, 12 a.m., 6 p.m. his time, which I would have been fine with that, right? But he got home late. He didn't get home till like 1 a.m., whatever, which, I mean, my time, which means I'm not starting the podcast at 1 a.m. because it probably won't be done till 2 a.m. and I had to wake up in the morning, early in the morning. So that's cutting it too much now, especially the time I had to wake up. You understand what I'm saying? So that was the only reason. If he would have started it at 12 a.m. my time, I would have been good, right? Like right now, it's 11, 12 p.m. here, like Veja, because we're in Central European time. So 12, I would have been all right. We probably would have talked, maybe pushed it to 1:30, right? Depending how good the conversations are. And he had other people, I think, on his podcast. I didn't get to see it. So maybe 12 to 1:30, I would have been all right. But to start at 1 in the morning and maybe push it out to 2:30, that's a little bit too much just for the topic. It's not that serious for the topic. But shout out to the chat. Thank you, everybody up in here. You know what I'm saying? Everybody here supporting the channel, supporting the chat. We're going to have a good time. Rome Rush was good. Everybody's up in here. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to do our thing. We're going to have a couple of conversations. But if you don't mind, hit the like button. Retweet this out. Get everybody going. Let's get the chat going right now. And we're going to kick it off real quick. Manabite, the dude that's into MCU and all that stuff, he preached, not preached out, but he sent a tweet saying, Sony is kicking off a month-long Experience PlayStation event at Sony Square in NYC tomorrow. It ends next month when a rumored PlayStation meeting might take place. And then he posted an image, just of the four symbols of PlayStation. And it says January 14, 2020 to February 16, 2020. So it's a month long. It goes from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. every day for the whole month. And supposedly it ends February 16th, where PlayStation meeting kicks off. The meeting might be February 17th, right? So let's talk about a couple of speculations, right? And shout out to the chat. Hey, Hugo was good. I'm doing good, living life. I'm playing Death Stranding. I passed Act 3. I'm on Act 4, right? I'll give my review. You know how I am. I'm slow with the review because I actually play the games and enjoy it. I don't play games to push reviews out. I just want to play and enjoy it. And however long it takes me to play, I play it. But when I do play it, it's based on me just wanting to play the game and I'm giving you an opinion. It's not me trying to get out there, review the game so I could get hits. So that's why I'm always late on that stuff, right? But I hope everybody's enjoying stuff. But back to this. So 30 days of PlayStation experience, right? On this New York, right? I would imagine, and this is just my assumption, that possibly over the next 30 days, you're going to see a lot of advertisements for the upcoming games that are coming out. If you remember God of War, when they had the blowout for like 2-3 weeks, every other day was like a new video. When they had the Horizon Zero Dawn blowout, when they had the Spider-Man blowout, over a certain period of time, they pushed out new information every day, which will be fantastic. I could imagine over the next 30 days, we'll probably see blowouts, interviews, conversations about The Last of Us 2, maybe Ghost of Tsushima, and any stuff in between. Of course, you're going to see third party, primarily the ones that are time exclusives, like Final Fantasy Remake. That's going to be a big part of it. You should see Neo 2 up in there. There's a lot of content that Sony has to push out, right? We all know as a hardcore what comes out, right? And people who are big fans of The Last of Us, right? They know that's coming, right? But there may be games that people don't aware because there's just really so much content out there. Sony's going to have to start pushing out media advertising, you know, especially when a lot of the talk is next generation, T-flops and 12 T-flops and secret sauce and all this craziness, right? That's unconfirmed, but it's just, you know, blowing out the water with all this nonsense. Hello from Ireland, big fan from your channel, bro. Hey, what's going on, Kevin? Well, not Ireland. I went to Scotland. But I would like, whatchamacallit, before I leave Europe, that's one of the places me and my wife would like to go. We would like to go visit the UK. I did Scotland, but she never got a chance to do it. But we also like to do Ireland and London. So hopefully we could get that through before we leave and stuff. But hey, shout out to Ireland. Thank you so much for stopping by. But back to this, 30 days. Something new every day, little teasers, little trailers, probably some podcasts or some videos with the developers talking about their games with more in-depth coverage. And I think it's good if they do this and they push out everything that's coming up to June, before June, you know what I'm saying? Because after June is really going to be about next gen, right? Give or take. Maybe, Ghost of Tsushima, whatever. Oscar Gonzalez, man, appreciate the super chat. My man just supporting the channel, supporting the content. He likes to hear the truth and stuff like that. Thank you so much. He never asks questions. He's just out there be like, yo, Puertorock, here you go, dog. You know what I'm saying? I have a feeling that's Yoshida up in there. I have a feeling. That's Jim Ryan right there. Oscar, he just calls himself Oscar Gonzalez. But Jim Ryan up there, right? Doing his thing, man. But appreciate it, Oscar. Appreciate everything you do, right? So over the next couple of months, right? It's a mixed bag. Like when you think about it, this 2020 or this generation, this year compared to other launch years is very unique, right? For the fact that even though we're getting a PlayStation 5, right? The next generation console from PlayStation, the beast, you know what I'm saying? Exciting hardware, that they're coming in with Ryzen and Navi, right? But also extra technology that's rumored, not rumored, but hardware ray tracing is confirmed, right? But supposedly it's going to be a discrete chip that does it. So we'll see how that is. SSD built from the ground up from games, exciting. The new controller will have the feedback and all that stuff. There's a lot of exciting 3D audio, a lot of exciting stuff that PlayStation 5 is coming, right? But at the same time, and I could remember launch years as far back as I can remember. I don't remember the previous system having this amount of games the year of launch. Like there is a lot of big games. Like potentially, right? In reality, when you think about it, the big games on PlayStation 4 could be bigger than the launch games on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Where people could be like, depending on what is officially announced for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, people could be like, why am I going to upgrade to that when I got all these bangers right now? Like, it's really huge what PlayStation 4 is doing this, You got, time exclusive Final Fantasy Remake. Yes, it's time exclusive, but the other platforms won't get it to next year in 2021. And that's already, you're already in the middle of you're already at the start of next gen, right? So there's going to be a lot of conversations about next gen games in 2021, right? You got Neo 2, which is a huge game, and a lot of people that like Souls games, and Neo 2 was fantastic, right? You got The Last of Us 2 in May. That's game of the year right there. You know what I'm saying? Kevin Murray, can you add a PSN? Of course. Puertorock77, same exact name. Of course he can add me, right? Free of charge, right? My PSN account's not locked behind a paywall, right? But you got, The Last of Us 2, Game of the Year 2020. I know, of course, I'm, talking shit, but it's a huge game. Iron Man VR, fantastic. I know a lot of people have VR, but it works. I know, you know what? I know I promised y'all a review. I'm going to get to it, right? But VR is amazing, right? Ghost of Tsushima in the summer. Dreams come out next year. It's just, this year, right? There's just a lot of stuff that's coming out. And it's insane. Like, there is so much content. Like, there's people that want to save for the PlayStation 5, right? They want to spend, save $50 here, $60 here, whatever, right? But how can you save $60 when Neo comes out or Iron Man comes out? You're like, all right, I'll buy Iron Man. Or if you have VR. If you don't, I'll buy Neo. Okay, cool. Oh, wait. But we also got Final Fantasy. Okay, I'll pay another $60. And then you're chilling, and then all of a sudden, oh, but Cyberpunk comes out. All right, fine, I'll buy Cyberpunk. Oh, but The Last of Us comes out. Okay, I'll buy The Last of Us. Oh, but we got Dreams, and you're like, what the hell? Yakuza, there's so many games. You're gonna spend $400 or $500 on your PlayStation 4 for the games to play. I don't remember next gen. I don't remember the current gen being that deep in big quality titles, big AAA titles, and just big titles across the board the same year a console comes out. Usually it tears down. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Saltiest Gaming. What's going on, brother? Thank you for showing up. So it's really, PlayStation Nation is really going to spend a lot of money, especially if you're going out there and you want to play these games, right? And you're not going to wait. Some people, God bless you. I don't know how you're going to do it. I know some of you are going to wait till the PlayStation 5 to play some of these games. You're going to want to play Final Fantasy for PlayStation 5. You're going to want to play The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. Some of you are going to want to play these games on PlayStation 5, right? And I hope, that you guys don't get, I don't want to use the word screwed over, but I hope you don't get disappointed that if you do wait and you play them on PlayStation 5, you realize you don't get anything out of it because they never added enhancements. Because I don't think, it would be nice, but I don't think the PlayStation 5 is like PC where it will upgrade and you upgrade the settings yourself or the system will upgrade it for you. We're just going to have to see how that turns out. But chances are you might not have, like if you take a PlayStation 4 disc and you put it in a PlayStation 5, it will play, but you're just playing the PlayStation 4 game. It's no different than what you get on the Pro or whatever. That's about it. You know what I mean? I don't see it automatically giving you higher settings, unless they purposely download a patch and give you enhancements, kind of like what Xbox One X did, right? So hopefully they do that. Hopefully those games get patched, PlayStation 5 enhancements, and you guys who waited, it's worth the wait. Because I think it would suck if a lot of you guys wait for the PlayStation 5, and then when you play The Last of Us 2, it's no different than your PlayStation 4 Pro. Like, you really don't get much difference. And you just waited, and you avoided spoilers and all this stuff when you could have just been played it. So hopefully, it's something, right? Hopefully Sony comes out, but we won't know until they confirm what the PlayStation 5 do, and they talk about what they're going to do with PlayStation 4 games being playable on PlayStation 5. That's a conversation for when they have, right? But 30 days from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., right? So 8 hours a day consecutively for 30 consecutive days. According to this, they're going to talk about PS4 and PSVR for between those days. So it's not going to be PlayStation 5 talk from January 14th to February 16th. The reason why I'm saying this now, because every single day, people are going to be like, what about PlayStation 5? What about PlayStation 5? Sony is already saying PS4 VR. So that's the only news you're going to get. I would imagine maybe February 17th. So when is February 17th? Let me look in the calendar here. What day would that land? Let's see. So February 17th would be a Monday. So February 16th is a Sunday, last day for the event. Monday kicks off the PlayStation reveal. That's doable. That is very doable. That is very possible that could happen. I'm definitely going to, if Sony announce a PlayStation meeting February 17th and it's televised and it's unveiling, I am going to take the day off on the 18th because chances are it's going to be super late here in Germany. And I'm just going to take the day off from work, whatever. And then I'll stream it live and we can all rock out together as we enjoy, the reveal for the PlayStation 5. But this is pretty cool. Let me know in the comment sections or in the chat right now, what would you like to see out of this PlayStation 30-day event over the next 30 days? What type of coverage, what type of games, what type of events? How about some of the smaller games that are out there, right? Who knows? And stuff like that. But there is a lot of games Sony has to talk about. This is a unique year. 2020 is coming out with a bang. Think about 2020. Again, Final Fantasy, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Dreams, Iron Man, Neo 2, and even many of the third-party titles like Cyberpunk. It's insane. We're going to talk about that with E3. Mark Willis. Shout out to Mark. He says, P-Rock, Sony not going to E3. Is that confirmed? We're going to talk about that, right? And, and I preach the truth. You're going to get my honest, gospel up in here, right? Low Soul aside, I don't know if that's going to be there. It would be nice. I know the developer talked about holiday 2020, but he told them that's not a confirmed date either. So the game's gonna be a while. You know, it almost feels like, you know, getting a pin needle stabbing in my eye with that game. That's how long been waiting for that game, right? But anyway, so we're gonna do that. All right. So what's the next talk about? I talk about the PlayStation 5 reveal. All right. So if February 17th is the reveal, right? Okay, and it'll be the full-blown reveal. All right. I'm gonna talk about a little bit of the difference from the last reveal, the PlayStation 4, and I think what they should do different with the PlayStation 5 reveal. Number one, the console should be there. If you remember, PlayStation 4 console was not there. They just talked about, they showed a little bit of the games. They talked about the future plans. They've unveiled the specs, but they didn't show the console. In fact, that was the first reveal where people be like, so you had a PlayStation reveal, but you don't show the console. I don't think they should do that again. They're going to have a reveal in February. They need to show the console, right? I don't know if you guys saw that mock-up. There was a nice looking mock-up of a PlayStation 5. They showed the black and white version. That looked really nice. I know I should have copied a picture and posted in the background, but you see it on Twitter. It's a really nice mock-up. It looks really clean. I know there's concerns about ventilation and heat, and let's be honest, a lot of these PlayStations sounds like Boeing 747s. They ready to take off. I mean, like, it's bad, right? I even opened up my PlayStation and I cleaned it. It's crazy, right? It's loud, right? I don't want that. If it takes the PlayStation 5 to look like the SX, a big ass boxing cube, then so be it. We need proper cooling. I can't, like, literally, I have to put on my headsets or put the TV really loud to muffle the sound. It's really bad. Like, it's really bad. Anybody experienced that? Maybe you guys, some of the Slims. I know a lot. I seen some videos on the Pro. Oh my God, it's ridiculous, right? I have the vanilla, and then what's crazy is it was never like that. My vanilla was not loud. So either these new games are sucking every ounce of capability from the PlayStation. I don't know what it is, but these things be roaring when I put in these new games in there. You know, games lately. It's insane. I don't know, man. And I cleaned it out. I opened it up, alcohol it. Like, it's brand spanking new. And like within minutes, I'm like, oh man. It's like being on a flight deck on an aircraft carrier. You know what I'm saying? Telling Maverick to go. Like, it's crazy. I don't know what it is, man. It's crazy. So I hope PlayStation, you know, especially with these new powerful hardware, they do something with that, right? It does look small and thin from the concept, right? But again, these are concept art, you know, concept designs and stuff like that. So we don't really know how thick it is. We don't even know if it's real. It just really looked nice. I wouldn't mind if it was thicker, like, you know, like spread out more, to allow more space. You know, we need vapor chamber. We need just really good cooling and all that stuff, right? Yeah, so we're going to put that there. Next topic I want to talk about, right, with you guys, E3, right? So rumor has it PlayStation will not be at E3 again. Now, I'm going to say what I said the last time Sony didn't go with E3. That would be disappointing. From my perspective, this is just my perspective. I understand the company's perspective. I will talk about the company's perspective, okay? But for now, I'm going to talk about my perspective as a gamer, as a fan of gaming, all right? E3 is our culminating event. It is our FIFA World Cup. It is our Super Bowl. It is our World Series. Pick whatever sport you like, right? Whatever sport you like, okay? Or whatever event or hobby you like. And that hobby has, you know, a competitive hobby has some type of championship event, a culminating event, right? That's E3. That's our stuff. Shout out Trey Bick. What's going on? Trey BK, my boy out here, right? Damn, everybody up in here, 161 users up in here. Let me get them likes, right? It's our culminating event. Each and every one of us was going to tune into E3. We're going to tune into the press conferences. We're going to see the videos. We're going to talk about the content, right? It is us. It is our thing, right? Did it not feel incomplete without PlayStation? Everyone even felt that way. Even Phil Spencer himself said it. Something was missing, right? It's one thing if a company flops and stop making consoles, aka Sega, and they're no longer there because they no longer make a console. It's the way of business. If there's nothing you could do, right? But it's a whole nother thing. With not only do you exist, not only do you make consoles, but it is the most successful console, and you're still not here. It hurts, right? It's just missing so much. Showon with a super chat. Xbox does E3 without being part of ESA. PS do the same. Could be. I would like something just be there. Even if it's in a different building. Let's say you don't want to be in that building because it's too expensive, so you got your own offsite. Just do something, right? Have your own event. Be part of the conversation where gamers all focus on that one day. Gamers all around the world focus on that 1 week of E3. Everybody's in there, right? And I'm going to be honest. Ubisoft, EA, all these other third parties, it's not enough, It's all about the big three, right? So we need the three there. So as a gamer, it's disappointing because, again, that's our day. Especially now I'm moving to California in April, and God willing, if I'm able to take time off during June, depends on my job. I haven't checked in yet, haven't reported yet, so I don't know how busy the schedule is. But if I am able to take time off during that period, right, I'm going to drive up to LA. LA is only about an hour away from where I'm be stationed at. So I'm going to LA, spend the weekend there with the wife. She'll probably, she don't care about gaming, so she'll probably be in Rodeo Drive doing, spending my money, whatever, on new purses and bullshit, right? Right? But me, I'm going to be all up in there geeking out. Whoever's out there, personalities, YouTubers I know, hopefully I get to meet you guys and say what's up and have a drink and just have a good time, man, right? I'm still going to go. Even Sony's not there. Because it's a console launch year, so it's still going to be cool. But, it's just something for me. It's just as the gamer, right? The Ruham, what's up, brother? Man is always supporting here. What's good, P-Rock? Everything is good, bro. We chilling. We about to get these games. We about to get these VR experiences. We about to get new consoles, right? 2020 is kicking off. I am pissed off about 2020 with something, right? 2020 did screw up something. And this is separate. It has nothing to do with gaming. But Houston Astros been confirmed to cheat for the World Series, and yet they still allowed to keep it. That's some bullshit. They're not going to get stripped of the title. I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, we're going to move on. So, PlayStation Reveal event. What I want different, show the console, right? Show the specs, right? Show the controller. Explain in detail what the controller do, right? What I want them to do is a couple of things, right? Since this is a review, I want them to demonstrate, right, what some of these advantages on the PlayStation will do that the PlayStation 4 can't do. And I'm not talking about, it's going to be better graphics and better versions of PlayStation 4 games. They need to show, right, the jump, and they need to show this is a PlayStation 5 game built from the ground up, right, using SSD technology, whatever. This is how it performs, right? And this is how a PlayStation 5 game would perform if we didn't build it from the ground up on PlayStation 5 and it had to be a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 hybrid or cross-gen. They need to show stuff like that, right? They need to show, because here's the thing, all right? And this goes into my conversation, right? Okay, P-Rock, E3 event rumored to cost $4 million. Perhaps they want to do their own event instead. That could be possible, right? And we're going to get into that, right? All part of this review, right? There's a conversation right now talking about last gen or the current gen of hardware will not hold back the next gen of hardware because the game scales. That's the word now. That's the new narrative. But the scales, right? As if these dudes are selling drugs and stuff. They're talking about scales, right? What they don't understand is all scaling is, right, is taking minimal spec games, taking game design, games on the core game designs of AI, physics, non-playable characters, everything that encompasses the world, right? This world, this game will run on the minimum spec, right? Because that's how they designed it. And every hardware higher than the minimum spec will run it better, will make it look prettier, it's just enhanced. It's just better looking, better performing, higher frame rates. It's just a better version than the minimum spec game, right? But as you increase and raise the minimal spec, you now achieve a new level of game design. All right? And that's the part people don't understand. When you raise the bar on what the minimum spec is, you are now able to do more things because you have access to more power to the CPU, more power to the GPU, better access to RAM. Because of the improvements of the minimal spec, now you can say, okay, instead of 50 characters, we can do 100 characters. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of this, we could do that. Instead of this level of AI, now we could do much better AI. Because of the minimal spec being raised, more stuff can be done, improved stuff, new technologies, better things can be done because now you have the hardware at the minimum level that can run it. Okay? On Twitter, I put a tweet of Battlefield, right? In 2015, Battlefield Hardline running on the Frostbite. In fact, let me get it right here. Let me put it up. I got the pics. Give me 1 second. Where you at? Okay. All right, cool. All right, here we go. So Battlefield Hardline, 2015, running on the Frostbite engine, right? The minimal spec, and I'm just gonna name the processor. Anthlon 2 Phenom 2 2.8 gigahertz, Intel Core i3, memory 4 gigabytes of RAM, graphics card ATI Radeon HD 5770 1 gigabyte, or the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 260 896 megabyte. That's the minimum spec of Battlefield Hardline to run, right? A year later, when they released Battlefield 1, they changed and raised the spec. Now, we went from Anthlon Phenom 2 processor to now an AMD FX 6350, right? We went from Intel iCore 3 to an iCore 5 6600K. And we went from a minimum 4 gigabytes of RAM to double. The minimum now is 8 gigabytes of RAM, right? And from a Radeon HD 5770 1 gigabyte to an Radeon HD 7850 2 gigabytes. This is minimum. And for NVIDIA, we went from a GTX 260 896 megabyte, right? To now a GeForce GTX 660 2 gigabytes. It's a huge jump for minimal spec. Right? You saw the jump. And that was just a year difference. Battlefield Hardline came out in 2015. Battlefield 1 came out in 2016. So if it's nothing but scaling, why did they change the minimal spec? Why didn't they just leave the minimal spec of Battlefield Hardline alone? Why didn't they make Battlefield 1 with the same exact spec at Battlefield Hardline and then just scale up? Right? Because let's say if you're running these minimals, let's say if you have a Radeon HD 7850, it just goes up, right? Am I wrong? Let me know in the chat if I got this messed up, right? Battlefield Hardline, keep the same specs. If you run a 7850, it scales up, right? Why does the 7850 need to be the minimum? Why does 8 gigabytes need to be the minimum? Leave it at 4 gigabytes. If you got 8 gigabytes, it scales up. That's the logic they're using. The reason why a new minimum spec was set, because there were certain things Battlefield 1 needed to do that Battlefield Hardline was not able to do, all right, with the minimum spec. The minimum spec of Battlefield Hardline was not good enough. They did things in Battlefield 1 that went beyond the capabilities of the minimal spec of Battlefield Hardline. And from that point, every more powerful hardware above the minimal spec just did it better. That's what scaling is, right? Okay? But you need the middle ground. In this case, for this generation, right, the minimal spec for most third-party developers was the Xbox One, right? That was the weakest out of all the console. Of course, we got Switch, which came out in 2017. But for most part, Xbox One was the baseline, right? With that baseline, developers looked at PC and be like, okay, what's the equivalent of an Xbox One spec on PC? All right, around this hardware. Cool. This is the Xbox One on console. This is the minimum for PC. From there on, everything just goes up. Everything just goes up. Everything is scaling better from the minimum of what we got. Okay? So if you buy a 28 Ti this year, if you already bought one, you're getting the best version of the minimum that's been built around Xbox One, right? And built on the minimum of PC. Okay? Now we're about to enter next generation consoles, right? We are talking a huge monumental leap from what we had. We're going from Jaguar cores, right? Blowing past Puma cores, because Puma cores is actually the next step above Jaguar. We're going past Puma cores. We're going past Zen 1, and we're going into Zen 2 CPUs. Much better CPUs, right? And we're blowing away from Polaris GPU. We bypass Vega, right? So we skipped the generation of video cards when you think about it, and we went straight into Navi. Right? So you're telling me consoles with Zen 2 and Navi, right? All they're going to be used for is to have better looking version of games that's built around an old ass Jaguar CPU and a GPU that was created in 2011, 2012. I remember when PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was released in 2013, PC gamers were pissed, right? All of them were pissed, right? And the reason why PC gamers were pissed, because they knew that these consoles was already launching underpowered, but they knew the games will be limited to what those consoles could do. They knew they were just going to get prettier versions of goddamn PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games, right? Many of the PC gamers in 2013 already owned PCs that performed better than PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. There were videos, I remember, in 2014 of dudes building part by part, and they listed $300 PCs that ran 1080p 60, on high settings, which is higher than the console settings, right? They didn't do it at max. They did it at high, but high is still higher than the medium settings we got with PlayStation 4 and, Xbox One. And they did it with $300 on the nose, right? So the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One was already, underperforming right from the start, right? But guess what? Those consoles can't change. They're static boxes. They're locked. They're closed. And developers know this, right? And they know a lot of console gamers are going to buy these consoles. So guess what? The developers can't be like, screw it. Sony and Microsoft created underpowered consoles. We're not making games for them. No, they're going to make money. They're going to make games for that. That's the minimum. Then they're going to look at PC. What's the equivalent spec that's just like Xbox One? Maybe a little bit better. Oh, these are specs? Cool. This is the environment we're going to make our games from. And we're going to scale up. That's it. Okay? We now have the opportunity, right, with these next generation platforms, right, to where Ryzen Zen 2, Navi GPU is the baseline. That is the minimum. PS4 Pro, that's not the minimum. Jaguar cars, forget about it. We're not even going to talk Jaguar cars. Polaris GPU, nope, right? GCN architecture, nope. We're talking, this is the baseline. This is where everything starts, okay? When that decision is made, PC gamers benefit. Because now developers will be like, okay, if PS5 and SX, right, Series X is the minimum, this is the baseline, then what is the equivalent baseline for PC? It could be like a 2070, somewhere around there, 2060, right? Somewhere around there. If that's the baseline for PC, the games is going to blow everyone's socks off. It's going to be amazing, right? These consoles, right, should not be relegated to simply better versions of this goddamn 16-year-old jet engine. This console's 6 years old, right? Now, we're going to dispel some of the damage control and bullshit. Number one, it's consumer friendly. Why are you forcing PlayStation 4 gamers to jump ship? And oh my God, you're going to make them buy a PlayStation 5 console. Let me tell you something, right? A lot of the new PlayStation 4 owners who bought this console, they're not expecting big new games day one on that console. They waited 6 years for a reason, and it's because they don't want to spend a lot on a console, so they only want to spend $200 or $150 and get a free $50 gift card. And all the games we all played for $60, Horizon Zero Dawn, Bloodborne, Last of Us Uncharted, Lions, Tigers, and Bear, all that crazy stuff, right? We pay $60. They're going to pay like $10. Hell, you could get like Horizon Zero Dawn complete for like $8 when I spent like $70 for the sucker. Not the complete, but like the game and the DLC, right? They're going to pay like $8 for it. Spider-Man, they're going to pay $15 for the Game of the Year edition when I spent $70. You understand what I'm saying? All the games that we paid $60, $70, $80, they're going to pay $10, $15. You know? Some of them, for $5 if they could find it in a bargain bin. They're going to have a slew, 6 years of content, right? 6 to 7 years of content. And these guys are going to pay nickels and dimes for these games. They're going to play God of War for like $11. This November, when they have the Black Friday deals, a lot of those games are going to be like $8, $5 and stuff. That's why they waited for so long. They're going to get an immense library. I mean, tons of libraries of games for $8, $15, $12 and all that stuff, right? And they're going to go years of playing PlayStation 4. I mean, think about it. If you honestly believe a person who or gamer who buys a PlayStation 4 in 2019, in 2020, is expecting new shit, then what were they doing in 2018, 17, 16, 15 if their mindset is playing the new shit? What new shit were you playing in 15? You weren't playing new shit in 15 because you didn't have a PlayStation 4. You waited to 2019. So clearly they're not about the day one $60 games. They want cheap games, huge library of games, and they're going to play for that for the next couple of years. And then when PlayStation 5 drops down to $200 and all those games are $20, $15, $10, they're going to repeat the same process. All right? The new generation of gaming is for the hardcore. The hardcore sets the trend, and we set the expectation, right? If you're going to announce and sell us a PlayStation 5, what makes it the PlayStation 5? And it isn't, it's graphically better than, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro. Then why even call it the PlayStation 5? Why don't you just call it the PlayStation 4 Pro? Or Pro Plus 2? Or Pro Mega? Or something. It's still, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you have new hardware in it. If all you're going to relegate it to is, it's PlayStation 4 games, but it looks much better. And it's a PlayStation 4. It just looks much better. What makes it a PlayStation 5? And the answer is games built from the ground up, right? Now, of course, people are going to, again, that second fallacy they're going to use is third party. Well, that means what? You ain't going to buy Call of Duty. You're not going to buy this. You're not going to buy that. What about Assassin's Creed Ragnarok? That's a cross-gen game, right? The third party are not selling us new hardware. They don't care where you buy the game. $60 is $60 for them. It is not Ubisoft's responsibility to push PlayStation 5. It is not Activision's responsibility to push the SX, the Series X. It is none of the third party's responsibility to convince consumers why they need the new console. It's not their problem. If you buy it and you buy that game, cool. You buy the Series X and you buy Ragnarok, cool. If you buy PlayStation 5 and you buy Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, cool. If you don't and you buy those games on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, or Xbox One, Xbox One S, or Xbox One X, it's still $60. No matter what platform you buy it on, they got $60 from you. It doesn't matter where you play it. It's not their responsibility to be like, you know what? We need to help Sony sell PlayStation 5, so we're only going to put Assassin's Creed Ragnarok built from the ground up on PlayStation 5. We're not going to put it nowhere else. PlayStation 5, PC. Because we want PlayStation 5 console sales. They don't care about that. That's not their problem. So whose problem is it? It's Sony's problem. They're the one that made the hardware. It's their responsibility to sell it. It's their responsibility to show us, who's going to put money down, what does it do? What does it give me? And if you've been console gaming for a long time, it isn't, oh, it looks better than the previous generation. Like, no. This is a new next generation hardware, new baseline, games built from the ground up. This is what we're giving you, right? Everyone will benefit that, especially PC gamers. They will benefit that from the new minimum. PC gamers don't want to hear in 2021 they're still messing around with Jaguar Core games. They don't want to hear that. They want new AI. Everybody wants that. How this concept is not understandable blows my mind. It's not just about prettier looking games. We need next generation AI, next generation physics. You know what I'm saying? Next generation destructible environments, right? More characters, more demanding areas, you know? We need more at the next generation level. Jaguar Cars is not going to give us that. Let it go. It makes absolutely no sense to spend months digging through Reset Era, and dig every single little tweet from some unknown dudes who I don't even know who they are, just so you could come up with a theory of, this console had 12 T-flops. For what? If the games are still going to be built on Jaguar cores from 2011. Like, who cares at that point then? It makes no goddamn sense, right? It's insane that people are damage controlling this, right? We're going to get Ryzen Zen 2, Navi architecture, right? Potentially 16 gigabytes of RAM. Why the hell do we want to see games made on Jaguar cores? Why? Oh, it's consumer friendly. Bro, are you telling me when you go inside GameStop, Walmart, wherever you're going to buy a console, and they bring out $400, $500, $600 PlayStation 5, you're going to be like, man, yeah, that PlayStation 5, that's what I want. But hold up. Before I buy this, are the games still playable on PlayStation 4? What? The game's not playable? Oh, hell no, I'm not buying that. I'm not supporting that. I'm not going to support a console that I'm going to pay with my money being built for the console that I'm going to buy for. No, who does that? Who gives a crap about the Xbox One owners? They're going to play a whole, or PS4 owners, they're going to play a whole backlog of old shit. Let them enjoy. When they're ready to move over, they're going to be happy that when they do transition over, number one, it's backwards compatible, so it's not like they're going to lose their library. It's going to cut over. But number two, they're going to be like, holy cow, these games are so much better than what I was playing on PS4 Pro. That's it. It's nothing new. It's not like we didn't even been through this. I mean, there's a lot of new gamers that started on 360. I don't think you guys understand. For some of you in the chat, when we had Super Nintendo and we played Super Mario 3, right? And then when the N64 came out and we had Super Mario 64, that was incredible, right? For Metal Gear fans, right? When we had the Metal Gears on Nintendo and the older system, right? And they showed Metal Gear Solid, that was incredible. That's like, this is stuff that the Super Nintendo, Genesis, they couldn't do. This is just things like we'd never seen or even thought possible. It's absolutely incredible what next generation hardware can do. It wasn't just simply a better version of last gen. You know? To push gaming forward, you need the new minimum. And PlayStation 5 and Series X are the opportunity to be that new minimum. It's the opportunity to cut the umbilical cord. No more Jaguar. No more Polaris. No more minimum 5 gigabytes. No, those days are over. Cut the umbilical cord. They're done. We're done with those. We're done with anemic CPUs. We're done with GPUs that are based off 2011, 2012 tech. We're done with all that. All right? We got next generation, architecture. We went straight to Navi. We bypassed Vega. Right? We completely skipped a generation architecture, GPUs, and went straight to Navi. And we're going to cap the games and just settle for, it's beautiful bells and whistles 4K 60. We need more than that. We need next generation of gaming, right? And that's what I'm going to leave all that at, right? My final point, Sony not at E3. I already gave you my personal opinion. Now I'm going to give you the business opinion, right? If Sony is not at E3, at that point it's over. They're not coming back. I honestly thought that they were just doing a little bit of damage control, right? Because all the new stuff is for PlayStation 5, and they already unveiled all the stuff for PlayStation 4. So last year's E3 would have just been another regurgitation of The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, maybe show Neo, maybe show Final Fantasy 7 remake. It's just stuff we already know. You don't need a show just to show the same stuff that we already know, right? We already know it, okay? So I thought Sony was doing damage control. You know, they're going to have damage control press release. Oh, we don't need it. It's a trade show, blah, 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 blah. And I thought they were going to damage control. And then, boom, they're back at E3 2020. It doesn't sound like the damage controlling. It sounds like they're done with E3, right? And if they're done with E3 this year, then I don't see the sense in talking about it next year because they're not coming back. If they really feel that E3 is not useful to their vision to push PlayStation, then it is what it is. It doesn't matter how any of us feel, right? And if they're not there this year, they're not coming back, right? It's just done. It's over, right? 2021, don't expect Sony to come back in 2021, 2022. If they're not here for the launch of their PlayStation 5, because this is the PlayStation 5 2020 launch year, if they're not at E3 during the PS5 launch year, you're not going to see them. Vedra, thank you for the super chat. Hardware doesn't run better than how great its firmware runs in games. Can't run without great optimization first in the firmware and secondly in the games. Hardware T-flops doesn't tell the whole story. Exactly. That's a good point, especially if you're going to cap the T-flops with old anemic Jaguar cores and shit, right? Thank you for the super chat. Great point. But with PlayStation E3, if Sony's not there this year, it's over. Anybody who talks about E3 and Sony the year after, they're just, obviously little kids, cloud, whatever, They're not going to be out there 2021, 2022. It's over. They're done with. So I haven't seen confirmed news that they're not E3. So far, it's been rumors, right? I hope the rumors are wrong. But if they're gone and they're not at E3 this year, launch year, you're not going to see them no more. Now, what makes me nervous about that is if Sony doesn't show up at E3, let's say they're done, they cut out the loop, but they're still successful, which most likely they will be, right? They're going to sell a lot of consoles, as long as they don't do anything disastrous, right? But let's say if they have a similar launch year like PlayStation 4, it's all about the games. They don't do no weird stuff. They show exclusives, great marketing. They go after third-party titles. Same blueprint, same playbook, right? They're going to be successful with the PlayStation 5. When other companies see that PlayStation is still successful and they're not at E3, many of them could be like, hey, we could save money from going to E3 and do our own thing, and we'll still get the same success because Sony's doing it. Why can't we? And then you'll have people pull out of E3. Maybe Ubisoft might pull out. Maybe EA. Little by little, companies pulling out, E3 becomes less and less appealing because not a lot of people are going there. And then eventually it could potentially die off if very minimal people are there, which is sad, right? Because again, that's our World Series. That's our World Cup. That's our Super Bowl. That's our Stanley Cup. Whatever sport or competition you like, that's the culminating event for us. If some people want to copy what Sony did, which is save money from going to E3, do their own stuff at a cheaper cost, and still find the success, the media attention, the sales, and they'll be like, man, we could do it without E3, you could potentially have people bow out of E3. This could be a bad trend that Sony created. I know Sony's looking in their own invested interest. Apparently, these companies spend a lot of money going to E3, setting it up. And so in Sony's eyes, they don't see it as appealing. It does to them. They feel it doesn't send the message they want to send with PlayStation 5. They rather send their own message, right? I thought, honestly, that was damage control last year. I'm thinking, yeah, Sony's going to be back at 2020. I honestly thought they're not going to go back to E3 just to show The Last of Us again or Ghost of Tsushima again. I honestly thought that. I thought it was just damage control. And they're going to damage control, make up stuff, yada. But then when 2020 comes, we're back at E3, all is forgiven, right? And every gamer will forgive them. Of course, you're going to have some people talk shit. Oh, I thought Sony didn't need E3. You're going to have that. But I thought all is forgiven. You're back. It is what it is. But it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they're serious. It sounds like yeah, we're done with E3. Which, bad for gamers, bad for PlayStation fans, especially during the week where gaming's culminating. propensity can lead to a, how would you say, a viral outbreak. It could be like a disease that spreads. You know, who's the next big publisher to agree with Sony? You know, it's like when you're in school or if you're in the military, you're in a room full of people, and one person goes, "Hey, I need to use the bathroom. I need to use the head." You know, he just popped the cork. Now everybody needs to use the bathroom. You know, who else is gonna follow Sony's lead and realize, yeah, we really don't need it. Yeah, we're done too. I mean, Rockstar don't go there anymore, so they stopped. Right? I remember we used to see Grand Theft Auto on there. Right? I don't think I remember the last time seeing Rockstar show their games there. I can't even remember, right? When was the last time Rockstar showed a game at E3? Can somebody hit the chat? I can't remember. I remember the last thing I remember seeing from Rockstar was Grand Theft Auto 4. I could be wrong. Did they unveil Grand Theft Auto 5 at E3? Anybody can remember? Was Grand Theft Auto 5 unveiled at E3? I don't think Grand Theft Auto 5 was unveiled at E3. Anybody remember? I know Grand Theft Auto 4 was at E3. I remember that. I remember that E3. With Xbox 360 headlining it and all that. I remember Grand Theft Auto 4 was at E3. And Peter Moore talking about the DLC. He's like, oh, we spent $50 million on 2 exclusive downloadable content. So I know Grand Theft Auto 4 was there. I remember that. But 5 wasn't, right? At a certain point, they stopped, right? GTA 5 next gen ports. Yo, and you know what? That game will probably still be the number 1 seller. Or at least top 20. That game will probably still be top 20. That game's been top 20 since 2013. That is ridiculous. I don't know how that game, right? In my opinion, you know, everybody talks about Fortnite, Apex, whatever. In my opinion, that is the most successful paid game this generation. Literally top 20 every single year, every single month across the world. And I don't understand. Like, is the multiplayer that great? Like, what's going on? You know, there's got to be drug deals. They got to use the game to sell drugs. Maybe, you know, escort service. There's got to be something to that game. It can't just be because of the game. There's got to be something. There's got to be something funny with Grand Theft Auto. There's, you know, people are just dealing drugs in the game, representing real life. Like, something sneaky with that game in the multiplayer. There's got to be. I just can't see how, like, that's impossible. It's just insane. There's got to be. You got to get escort service. There's got to be something within that game. Something hidden. It's like the dark web, you know? It's just insane. It's like, but what's going on? I know people saying GTA is probably because of online, but what's actually happening on the online? Like, is it really that crazy? I mean, I played in the beginning, but it's been years, so I can't even imagine the updates and like, is the online that insane in Grand Theft Auto 5? Like, is it that popping? Like, are people flying, you know, like what? I don't know. It's insane, right? But anyway, I'm going to just leave it off with the chat like this. I'm going to wrap it up, but you saw my points and stuff like that, right? I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what I'm saying? What time is it? It's almost midnight, whatever. Hey, I'm glad you guys rocked out. I'm glad you guys supported the channel. Before you leave, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Sign up for more new live videos and conversations, stuff like that. But anyway, I hope you appreciate it. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. And I'm out. This is your boy Puertorock77. And I'm glad you guys rocked out with me. Truly appreciate the chat supporting the channel. And everybody up in here rocking, have a good conversation. You guys are doing a great job. Hey, I hope you enjoy the rest of the week. This is your boy Puertorock77, your only friend in these YouTube streets. And I'm out. Peace.